Hey, Husker fans, welcome back to the Husker Big Red YouTube channel. I'm Chris Peterson, and joining me is Danny Gillette. And we are back today to talk about some recruiting news for Nebraska football. There's not a ton with the game week coming up, although with the dead period coming to a close and the game day visits happening, we will have a much more recruiting intel moving forward. But for this week, we just wanted to look back at some of the new offers, some visits that are happening, and give you some updates on some current Nebraska football recruiting commitments. So before we get into that, please make sure that you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get into the comment section. And Danny, how are you doing here really quickly before we get into some recruiting information?
Good. Busy, busy, busy. Preseason football. Nebraska's first game on Thursday. A little bit slow on the recruiting trail, but still some information to be had. And it's that time of year,
It definitely is that time of year. And we've got football games, volleyball, everything's kind of hitting full swing. Just really quickly, we did touch on a couple of recruiting things last Friday. If you missed that episode, though, just want to touch quickly on Matt Erickson, the 6'8" offensive tackle, ranked number 4 in the state of Nebraska in the 2027 class. He has visited a bunch of times already, but he's actually going to be visiting he's got 6 game day visits scheduled for Nebraska already. So we kind of talked about it on Friday, but if anybody is on kind of commitment watch, or if there's a ideal candidate or a strong candidate to be the next commitment, it's probably Matt Erickson with all of these visits coming up. And then in the 2026 class, or did you have something about Matt Erickson, Danny?
No. I was just gonna say if he doesn't commit on one of these visits, then I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah,
But
he really seems to like Nebraska. So I mean, but yeah, prototypical size. He was at Kansas over the weekend, I should say, and did seem to enjoy
good.
that visit. So, some other teams in the mix, but I still feel like Nebraska's the heavy favorite. And then in the 2026 class, to Darius Hughes, 6'2", 175, safety cornerback, ranked number 328 overall. Florida State commitment is expected to, according to John Garcia of Rivals, to take an official visit this fall to Nebraska. Took an official visit in this summer, so their Huskers could be in a position to flip a 4-star defensive back there.
And I really like our chances with Hughes here because I remember when CJ Bronod decommitted back in June, they offered Hughes and had Hughes on their radar that same week. So this is a recruitment that's kind of been in the works for a couple months now.
And there's like we said, not as many things happening, but Nebraska is starting to build some momentum in the 2027 class. We've got Torrey Pittman, the 5-star, Trey Taylor, an elite quarterback who I think has 5-star potential. But Albert Simeon, a 6'4", 280-pound offensive lineman out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, ranked 44th overall in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. He's going to be taking a 3rd visit to Nebraska. This is according to Rivals. So he took a couple over the summer, but he's going to get in for a game day visit this fall. So that will be his 3rd, and that's how you win a recruitment like this. And you get him back for maybe a visit in the spring, get him for an official visit this summer, and that's how you lock down a recruitment. It's not going to be easy. Texas A&M is one of the teams right in the mix for him. No shortage of kind of top contenders for Albert Simeon. LSU obviously right there as well. And it's always easy to it's never easy. Excuse me. It's never easy to get a kid from Louisiana when LSU is actually pushing for him. So, I wouldn't give Nebraska a great chance at this one, but I do think they've got a puncher's chance now that they are going to get him on campus for a 3rd time.
And they've been on a recent hot streak in terms of getting offensive line commitments. So, I mean, whatever Dayton Raiola is doing, and I know they necessarily haven't been 5-star commitments, but whatever the recruiting pitch is resonating with the players.
And then another offer. There was a few new offers, but I would say the most notable that went out over the past few days is to Seth Tillman, a 6'3", 256-pound defensive lineman from Rock Hill, South Carolina, ranked 111th overall in the 2027 class, 9th at his position. A bunch of SEC offers, of course, South Carolina, Arkansas, Clemson, 15 offers total, but it seems like Nebraska still has a chance to get in early enough to make an impact here. So I'll be interested to see how that recruitment kind of develops with Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, they've come in late on recruitments before, and they've been able to kind of, make some inroads quickly. So, you never count out the staff when it comes to recruiting.
Then another four-star that's going to be visiting Nebraska offered him back in June. This is Xavier Balla, the four-star running back, 5'11", 202 pounds out of Long Island. Not you don't see Nebraska, recruit a ton of players out of New York, but Matt Rule does kind of have some ties to that Pennsylvania, East Coast area. EJ Barthel, does as well. Coached up at UConn. He's ranked 290th overall, the 22nd best running back, and according to Brian Munson, he's going to be coming to Nebraska for a game day visit this fall. Which I said last Friday I would love to see this team start landing more big time running backs, and Xavier Balla would certainly qualify as one in my opinion.
Yeah, and he may not get as much, kind of love in the rankings because he's from the Northeast, but he's an explosive running back who can hit the holes quickly. He's got great vision. He's got the ability to get to the second level quickly, and he can kind of have that breakaway speed to kind of make an impact play.
And then lastly, just to give kind of an update on the 2026 class, we definitely will try to have some more stat recaps and things as the season goes along. But we did, if you missed it, Dayton Raiola had a couple of touchdown passes this past week on Friday night. So I think that's 3 touchdown passes so far this season for Dayton Raiola, leading Buford to a 2-0 record. They're obviously a powerhouse, so they've got a ton of talent. But I think the early returns on Dayton Raiola have been good. Hopefully his ranking will rise. Not that it really matters, but for him, I just think he deserves to be in the top 1,000. I mean, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the meaning for his low ranking is. Maybe they just don't watch him play, but he definitely deserves to be higher than he is.
I don't see how he goes from, like last year during the season, he was in like the 900s or whatever in the 7, and he kind of moved up a little bit. And so like how in the offseason do you drop like 600 spots? I mean, is he just not like, doing the right 7-on-7 tours? I'm not really sure. And like, I get it. I get that they make a lot of those evaluations, but football isn't played in shorts. It's not played in shorts and t-shirts. So what you can do, when guys are coming at you and trying to hit you and all that stuff, still should matter quite a bit. But I think Nebraska knows what kind of talent they have in Dayton Raiola, and it's going to take some development, but I still think he's a guy with a really high ceiling. So maybe the floor is not as high as it was with his brother or some other prospects, but I think he does have a pretty high ceiling still, which I think makes it a smart take for Nebraska long term, especially when you have TJ Lateef already earning the number 2 job and kind of looking like he might be the successor to Dylan Raiola before Trey Taylor. So regardless, Nebraska's quarterback room is in a great spot. I think there's very few teams in college football that have a better quarterback situation long-term over say the next 5 years than Nebraska. Now there's certainly some, the usual suspects, but I think Nebraska's probably, has maybe one of the 10 best quarterback situations, on the current roster, plus their recruiting commitments. And that's a pretty strong place for Matt Rule to be in going into year 3.
When's the last time we could say that about Nebraska, huh? I can't remember.
Back when they were running the triple option, and triple option quarterbacks were a whole different thing. So I mean, since the days of touchdown Tommy Frazier, that probably was the last time. So
when I was 1 month old, or actually, when they won the national championship, January '95.
Because that was like January 1st, I guess, or January 2nd.
I wasn't even born yet. January 3rd. Okay. So
they beat Miami.
But I wasn't even a thought. Well, I probably was a thought by that point, but when I was not even introduced to the world. So there you go. That's how long it's been since Nebraska's had a deep quarterback room. Too damn long.
Yeah, too damn long. But they've got it fixed now. And if the wins start matching, if the wins on the field start matching some of these recruiting wins, then I think we're all going to be really happy. So thanks everybody. Or go ahead, Danny.
No, I was just gonna say Balla's recruitment kind of reminds me a little bit of Mecky Nelson's. In the sense that, a Northeast guy, not a ton of offers, but a lot of production to show for it. So I'm really hoping Nebraska can kind of, fly in under the radar here.
Yeah, Nebraska's been recruiting some more Northeast guys. Northeast guys tend to get underrated. It's kind of the same thing with Nebraska players, but there's a lot of good players in the Northeast. And
a lot of Michigan guys go to are from the Northeast.
Yeah, a lot of them. They've got a lot of good players from that area. So, Peter Bork, I think, is I think he's from Massachusetts. He's just a top 100 quarterback. So yeah,
you remember Sean McKeon, the tight end?
Yep.
I actually know him. Yeah, I know him very well. Yeah. So
Oh, nice. Yeah,
no,
he
it's
was a good
cool.
player.
Yeah, because he came from Shepherd Hill High School, which is where Chris Lindstrom, my other friend, who's now a guard, all-pro guard for the Atlanta Falcons, and his brother is trying to make the Patriots right now. So a lot of talent in the Northeast. Sorry to get off on that tangent, but it's always cool because we're more known for hockey. You know what I mean? Hockey and basketball, but we're getting more football guys.
Get more football guys. Yeah, that's good to see. Hopefully Nebraska will start getting more of them. So, all right,
Yeah,
you guys. Hopefully we'll have a little more information for you on next week's recruiting update. But definitely once the game day visits start happening, there'll be more recruiting intel to pass along. But thanks again for watching the video. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as always, go Big Red.
go Big Red.